Hello and welcome to Gag of the Millennials. That's not true. That's not true.
So hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new Reddit reactions, actually Facebook reactions video. Hi Luxeria.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing alright, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
I'm full of Swedish fish and caffeine.
Oh dear, and I'm full of semen. Goodness. Today we are here for a part 2 to one of the more excitable videos that Luxeria tended to get involved with. I don't know how to word it. And we're here.
I don't know either, to be honest. I was possessed by something.
You were possessed by the demon Boomer.
Yes.
So today we're doing a part 2 to the Boomer logic, Boomer humor, Boomer insanity nonsense on the internet. Like normal, we ruffled a few feathers recently, didn't we? We did, yes.
I do also desperately want to tell you all that, as we said in the last episode, Boomer is a state of mind. Baby Boomer is the age bracket.
Exactly.
I'm not having a go at older people who are perhaps a bit more with it. I'm having a go at people that are like, no, you're putting eggs in our brains and calling us all Sandra girls.
Oh,
I'm not interested in
I mean,
any
some
of
people
all
might
that.
want an eggy Sandra. So guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that are coming up. But, and yes, let's not beat around she's dead. Let's not beat around the dead bush.
Does radiation from cell phones concern you? No, because I don't use a cell phone. I have a flip phone. I don't know where the closest tower is, and I don't do Wi-Fi. I think it's dangerous. Hands-free all the way, baby. And she's an X-ray technician. Tell me you just don't have any comprehension of the world. What do people think Wi-Fi is? What are they like, no, I don't use Wi-Fi. It's just in my house and I'm on my phone.
You stupid son of a bitch.
The thing is, even if you wanted to try to live like the least amount of like radio wave, Wi-Fi, like any of the signals that get sent out, as soon as you step outdoor of your house, you are bombarded by rays. If I took out my TV, took out my phone, took out my computer, and just sat in my room and it was completely empty, I would still get the background effect from like the people below me and above me.
Yeah, and the public Wi-Fi services that we have around here. You'd be like, yeah, you can never get away from it. It's the idea that she's like, I don't use a cell phone, I have a flip phone. What do you think a flip phone is, madam? What do you think you're flipping on that?
Yes, flipping. Yes, flipping a bean.
I beg your pardon?
The idea of X-ray tech. You're an X-ray tech.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't
The
go
radiation from cell phones. You're an X-ray technician.
That's unhinged. I think it's dangerous. Hands-free all
Maybe
the
that's
way.
why she's got no eyebrows.
What do you think the signal is from hands-free? How do you think it goes from one phone to the next? What do you think is getting sent out?
Yeah, what do you think? Have you ever had a thought?
I don't understand like how.
Is it painful?
Maybe all the radiation rotted their brain.
Well, that's the tea, isn't it? Maybe
Maybe
it is the phones. And I don't do Wi-Fi.
I don't know if you remember, but years ago they were saying things like, oh, don't put your phone in your pocket because you're becoming fertile.
Yeah, don't use a laptop because you're becoming fertile. And actually what was happening is the world pollution of plastic is causing men's sperm rates to drop to less than half of what it was in the 60s. But they're like, don't put your phone in your pocket.
Back in my day, we didn't have plastic in the ocean.
Back in my day, we didn't even have sperm.
Back in my day, we just died.
Yeah.
Sorry, Grandma.
No. I don't use a cell phone, I just die. Oh, it's me. I feel bad for parents nowadays. You have to explain the birds and the bees and the bees, the birds and the birds that used to be bees, the bees. The birds that look like bees and the bees that look like birds but still got a stinger. I love it. Imagine taking nature and being like, once again, different species. Where's your cis fish?
Where's your...
It's so tired. Are you not exhausted? Are you not so frivolously exhausted with hearing your own voice spout such bull as saying, they're the birds that used to be bees? Do you realise how fucking dumb you are?
I've had it officially.
Where's your cis fish?
Where's your cis fish? You can't be a part of the trans topic.
No, you can't. No.
Cis fish. The birds that used to be bees and the bees that used to be birds. The birds that look like bees and the bees that look like birds but have still got a stinger. Do you know what I would not like to be flying around my house? A bird with a stinger. Imagine that. That is climate change. That's the true agenda of science. That's the trans agenda. Give all of the birds stingers. I would like to see it. And just let them free. Go on, girls.
Alfred Hitchcock is
Killed by a starling. Yeah.
Starling. It's like, you know, people say that, oh, my grandma came back because of Robin. There's Robin just comes and like kills the family.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she really did. She was that, you and that transgender. Yeah.
She's dead.
Where does the birds and the bees even come
I have
from?
no
Because
idea.
no one in my life has ever been like, so, when a bird
bird
gets
is-
very
yeah.
excited, it puts an entire bee up its hole. Like, never in my life.
Yeah.
When you have sex with someone, you need to bring the bees.
Yeah. Then a bee drill gets performed.
Oh, bee drill, yeah,
bee
drill your bees.
Yeah. Wake up, and it's the Statue of Liberty, like, beating the church.
It's very, wake up, whore, it's time to die.
What I don't understand about this kind of thing is, like, with Americans saying all this kind of stuff and being taken over
Wake
by
up, the
communism and gays, whatever, it's like the whole point of America and the founding fathers was the separation of church and state. That's
Yes,
right?
100%.
So now why they're like, no, the church has to take over. No.
Christianity, girls. It is very weird that, like, why have they got, like, golden armor? Why is the snake like, it's just asleep, girl?
I know.
Go to bed, little church.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Liberty is upset because America's, like, suffering because we need the church to suddenly tell us that the gays are wrong.
I don't know. The thing is, these homophobic people and transphobic people and all these awful people are shouting it anyway. So why don't they need the church to wake up? You're saying already.
They're also like, I'm being silenced whilst on the biggest network available with the biggest audience, writing books about I'm being silenced. Nobody can hear me. I'm being silenced whilst you're giving an address to the entire nation.
Yeah.
Unhinged.
Jesus loved a good spanking. Jesus loved a good peach. Jesus
He
loved to get
did.
raw
He
dogged
did.
by
A woman on
by
the Statue of Liberty with a strap on. Yes. She took that torch and she put it somewhere.
Whore!
Oh, blasphemy. Dead now.
God, sodomy for Jesus. Just letting you know that the book Understanding Women is now in paperback.
Do you know what?
Say!
Do you know what? Any straight men out there that are like, women are from the goats. If you just listen, you might learn something. You might learn a little bit. If a woman's like, can you stop doing that and tidy after yourself? And you're like, the woman, a mysterious species who just shouts at me in my own home. I did nothing wrong. I don't know why she left.
It's not fair.
Because you pick
You
your
sure
asshole on the
is.
sofa.
Oh, not picking. Jesus is the best doctor. Oh, look, white Jesus.
What?
Born in the Middle East. White, yes.
I don't think.
He forgives all my sins and heals all my diseases. Psalm 103. Do you know what's interesting about Jesus?
Turns out he had an impacted anal gland.
Well, he was like, I died for your sins, but then he came back, so he didn't really die. He sort of went to sleep for a weekend. I've
Yeah.
done that on a come
Yeah,
down
he
once
was-
or twice. And then also he came back, so add gaslighting to that. So he's a liar and a gaslighter.
No, so what I don't understand is, Jesus, he forgives all my sins, he heals all my diseases. And people,
So you have to go out and sin. Go out and put bees up your hole.
But like, my thing about it is like, if God and God's will causes all these things to happen, why are you praying to God or Jesus to be like, take them away because he's decided that you want to get, like, you should be getting cancer? I don't really understand the logic in that.
Yeah, when they always say like God's plan, blah blah, it's like, oh, is childhood leukemia part of God's big plan then?
Yeah.
You're trying to explain to me, as a scientist, that a child literally dying who is an innocent creature upon this planet is somehow deserving because it's
This
part
is
of
the thing,
God's plan.
I just don't get it.
It's
I don't get it.
disgusting.
You're a monster.
The idea of like, we're gonna pray this the way, we're gonna pray the disease the way, it's like, you know, I'd rather actually believe scientists.
If Christians are like praying for like cancer to be cured, and then we actually have like treatments that might make you live longer, and they're like, no, it's against God. Maybe your little prayer of like someone actually finding a way to deal with it currently. Maybe, if you believe in the metaphysical universe, maybe that's connected in some way or another. So why are you not accepting help from your little prayer about helping people?
Luxeria,
instead
the
of
born
spreading
again
it?
Christian.
Yes, thank you.
That was
Just call me Sandra. Sandra 1213. Put a B up your hole.
Testify.
Eggy Sandra.
Eggy Sandra. Oh, full circle. Dead now.
He's got the whole
Well,
world
up his.
I don't need a man. The domino effect. I don't want a man. I don't want to be a man.
Why is this blaming the family?
What?
Again, it's like, oh, blame the child for not wanting to be a man if there's no, like, accurate male father figure there. I actually do think that male father figures, when they are really good, they make a huge positive impact on
Absolutely.
society. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have a lot of them around. It's very annoying. I don't think I had a very positive male role model growing up. I don't feel like most people did. And it's so shocking to see this be like, I don't need a man, I don't want a man, I don't even want to be a man. Like, well, where is the man in this equation? Should we ask him?
They think that these women who are like happily happily married or happily in relationships just suddenly go, oh, I'm a feminist now, I don't want a man. It's like, no, normally people get to break up or divorce, there's a reason.
Yeah, there is a reason.
Like, she doesn't just wake up one morning and go, oh, I've just decided now, because of society, I don't want to be with you. My love for you has just disappeared. Get out of my house. My trans child is now trans.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's one of these things of like weaponized male incompetence where they feel like they get to coast through life, and as soon as any resistance happens to the way they behave, they're like, well, you should always stick by me because you're my woman. And it's like, imagine actually being a woman in that situation. Just
Got to get out of here.
The BBC, it's raining, and it's what? And it's warm, must be climate change. What does this
Oh, what is wrong with these people who made this and was like, obviously the BBC is very left-wing media, they're very
Absolutely
upset.
not.
The BBC is the most like ridiculous collection of nonsense you've ever seen. They've been horrendous throughout history. They have harbored paedophiles, they have charged people up until their dying breath, taken people to court over teletax. It's absolutely unhinged. The idea that they're like, it must be warm and climate change because I drink from the BBC piss fountain. I hate this.
Doesn't make any sense. It's raining, it's pouring, I've got gout.
Yeah, is it basically trying to say like the BBC is telling you it's raining, and therefore because you're like, I'm stupid wearing a mask, therefore it must be climate change.
Can you pick me up? I'm scared.
Is that what they're trying to insinuate by this? Because that is
The rain is
deeply unserious.
warm rain suddenly means
Climate change, you're
because
gonna die.
cold rain
because
doesn't?
of the COVID mask vaccine.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
5G.
Yeah.
No!
You could, that's it, you'll get cancelled on Instagram I did. Yeah.
Never mess with people who know how to pray. They're armed and dangerous. Should we do a prayer right now?
Shall we?
So sick of that joke.
Now, by saying that, I do actually want to say, if you have a personal relationship with God, that is quite beautiful. If it's helped you in your community and helped you overcome any struggles in your life, when people say things like, we'll just send prayers to like a national outrage, a national emergency, it's just like, what are you doing?
I feel like people do it just because they want to be part of like the group and doing like,
it gives that a way of thinking you've done something
when you
without
haven't.
doing anything.
Yeah. Half the time is actually when people say like, oh, thoughts and prayers. I bet all they've done is just type in thoughts and prayers. And
Yeah, they haven't actually
They haven't even done the thoughts. They've never actually gone, dear Lord, can you help, blah, blah, blah. They've just
Thoughts
gone,
and prayers should
like,
lead to action. They should be the first port of call to like think about an issue to almost create a way to solving that issue.
But also, again, when like mass, things happen in the world, like disasters and things like earthquakes, all that shit. I was thinking when people say like thoughts and prayers again, but this is what God's will is.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you're saying, I pray that you get back. I pray you find your family. But if it's God's will, God has chosen this to happen.
To do this, yeah. It's
I
bizarre.
don't really understand.
I don't understand the double thing.
No offense, lady, but what you don't know could fill a warehouse.
Oh, here we go, girls. Here we go.
Are you
Boomers really thought this was a conspiracy. Wow. What? What's 2023? The sun. Oh, is that climate change? As if it's only happened in 2023.
Yeah, do you know, we actually, so we recently watched a thing about PSAs, and one of the PSAs, it was from like 1990, and it was talking about climate change. And we were both kind of shocked because we didn't know how like early people started talking about this.
So
1990.
in science, there was a scientific paper published by Shell Oil, and they said in I think it was 1962, they were like, there is a problem if we keep harvesting oil, we might predict changes in the Earth's atmosphere. 1962.
Wow.
But then very swiftly afterwards, they were like, profit.
Oh yeah,
Let's ignore that.
it's actually shocking that Shell would do that, seeing who they are.
I know. And the idea that now people are just like, oh, this woke agenda, the planet's not on fire, I'm doing fine, whilst my inflation is 8 billion% and I can't even look at my own
I always think of it as like, these people just don't love their children.
No, they don't.
They don't love their children.
No.
The whole idea that you think the entire world conspired against the entire population to be like, we're gonna make COVID. Why? What were they going to achieve by it? The economy has gone to shit all around the world.
Yeah.
The whole thing about like them talking about killing the population, oh, they want to control, and the government's trying to make
the date keeps changing as well when they're like, on the 18th of September, all your 5G chips will be activated, they'll all die.
Oh, thank God for that.
Why would the government want to murder everyone?
Where would the tax revenue come from?
Without all the people, the government are useless.
Also, do you not think the government is made of people? Do you think it's just an ominous force in the distance that has nothing to do with anyone?
It's really
the majority of people that work in the government are also like regular members of the public. They work for things like the civil service. They work for things like assessing the health and pollution in London and things like this. Not everyone is literally like the inner circle of the shadow cabinet.
I don't understand how in 2023, with clearly changes happening, that you still deny that it's
Yeah,
happening.
to be honest though, they are reframing it now from the fact of like human impacted climate change to like, well, we've always had hot points at history. It's just that it's happening a lot now. Much more. We're actually in an ice age.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
It's like, oh, sis, can you actually just like stop force feeding yourself this nonsense from your screen and just experience the outside for a moment and be like, should we be having downpours in August in the UK? And then should most of Greece be on fire? No, I can't do Snapchat or TikTok, but I can write in cursive, do math without a calculator, and tell the time on a clock with hands. So can everyone else.
So can literally...
Like, if you're bragging about being able to write in cursive, one of the most illegible ways of writing, what's the point?
I just want attention.
Unhinged. It just comes from Victorian England where everything was fancy for no reason at all. But
Yeah, exactly.
no one could understand what anyone was writing because it was like, Mary had a little and the doctor prescribed the plague. Like, no, why are you doing that? We don't care. Can you rotate a PDF? Can you open up your bank account? Do you understand where your data is going? You cannot do any maths worthwhile in any industry career without a calculator of some sort. Are you unhinged? Are you completely and utterly deranged?
Yes, I am!
Doctor prescribe the plague. In this house, this house identifies as non-binary.
non-binary.
Oh, non-binary. What?
We stand for the flag and kneel for the cross. And it's Donald Trump on a McDonald's sign.
I feel as though somebody's disemboweling themselves in front of me, and I don't know whether to applaud or vomit.
This has got to be satire.
That
I'm
has
sorry.
to be
yeah,
satire.
like-
And then it's just amen.
Amen. Oh dear. I'm giving up meat to reduce the 0.00017% of methane in the atmosphere, so the weather goes gooder.
She's on drugs!
And they've literally got their brain in a blender. What is there to say about this? What do you like? Everybody's so creative.
Green is not a creative colour.
Ill. These
Ill.
people ill.
Ill.
I've never met such a group of ill people in my life.
ill.
Couple prioritizes their food over a dying man.
Oh my god, what is that? Shout out to blank, most selfish couple. Someone was having a heart attack at Roma's. And what's Roma's? Is that
I guess it's an Italian restaurant somewhere.
And the server was helping the man out, and this couple started complaining their food not being served to them their food was not being served immediately.
Main character syndrome. I mean, I understand being like waiting in a restaurant and being like, oh, but if someone's dying next to you, I'm not gonna be like, excuse me.
I would understand if it was like something less serious.
Like, let's say a couple are having an argument or something
Yeah.
and causing a drama next door, and then you're like, actually, can I just really want my food?
Yeah,
Like,
like,
I can sort of understand
just
that.
kick
but,
them
like,
out. Like,
it's a bit different when there's like death
a
involved.
literal dying man. Like, where's my food? I don't care if that person's about to die. I want my food. Well, I want you to shut up.
Where's the humanity?
Where's the
they're
humanity?
literally- These people don't have empathy, they don't have sympathy, they don't experience humanity. They're not human. as
No,
far as I'm
no.
concerned. These
no.
people are just little consumers.
Rodents.
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 Even rodents are
Yeah.
nicer. Oh. Why are you saying this, Rossi?
I'm not even going to read it out because I'm not having anyone even like clip my voice saying
No.
this.
I'll happily read her response. She's like, my Twitter account got suspended for 12 hours after giving my opinion. If this doesn't change, I'll be contacting my lawyer. Get a fucking
Imagine
grip,
being
Rosie.
like, I'm going to sue Twitter because I said something really racist and they banned me. Like, how do these people think they have any case? It's
because in their mind they're actually saying like, I just say what we're all thinking. I'm just really honest. And why are you being
I'm so over this argument of like, oh, I'm just saying what we're thinking. Well, if everyone was thinking it, you wouldn't need to say that.
No.
Sit down and shut up!
They genuinely believe that social media is a human right. Like, oh, I have to be
they
like,
do, don't
Twitter
they?
is not a human right.
It's a private company,
Like,
and if they do not want you there, they can remove you. It's the same with any of these people in America that are like, oh, why am I being banned from this shop for just stating my opinion? And their opinion is like the worst take on something you've ever seen. A private company is allowed to say who they want in their business, regardless of what kind of a person you are. They don't have to disclose why. They just have to say, we don't want you in here.
Yeah,
that's private business. That's a concept of enterprise that you have all voted for. I have never been at that restaurant. I do kind of find it funny. And she's also included a selfie from restaurant. I don't mind this kind of boomer stuff because it's kind of harmless. It's just like someone's a bit confused. I see this for Amazon products all the time. Did you know you get emails being like, you need to review this product that you might have bought? You get someone being like, 1 star! Stop emailing me! I don't know what you're talking about! I'm Keith. Oh, I miss the kids. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's fine, but it's funny. Poor Clara.
Clara, yeah. Eggy Clara.
No, she wasn't eggy. She didn't eat at the restaurant.
No. Blueberry lime. What?
I don't appreciate your political bias. It's really not that subtle and only relevant to some. The pie zone is a place for pie only. Treason's greetings to you as well. Treason's greetings?
Imagine actually saying, make pie,
make pie not war. And they're like, your political stance is outrageous.
Imagine saying that you don't want war and that suddenly means that you are an awful person. What the f***? I don't want to go to war, therefore should be dead? Like,
yeah, it's like, honestly, when we do videos like this and when we have conversations like this, I do kind of think, you know, when people are like, we can still turn it around, we can still save society. No, we can't.
You're all going to die.
Jerry.
Oh, she's called Buckled Down as well, so you know she's gonna have the best take in the world. College students do not have to go in debt to get a degree. They can work their way through, like many of us did before the day of student loans. How could you be so out of touch? Maybe she's so out of touch there's a reason why she's got no lips in her profile. Maybe she's eaten them with all the lies she's been spreading online. I hate this attitude that it's not necessarily a baby boomer old people thing. It's just like the idea of like, well, I suffered and I made it. So what do you mean that your pain is bigger than mine? I'm the only one that's ever suffered, ever.
Shut up, bitch!
To me, this sounds like a woman who was born in one tiny town, got a job in that tiny town, never left that tiny town, and thinks that tiny town is the world.
Is the world.
When we went to Devon, like a year ago, and I walked through Crediton, which is where I worked, I was like, oh, this feels like it's been frozen in time a little bit. I can understand that things might not necessarily be drastically changed, but like house prices still change.
Yeah.
The stock market still changes with you. Like,
yeah, weirdly enough, the financial centers, like most major metropolitan cities, are the places that evolve really fast. And the further you get away from them, the slower evolution and things change. But the money never does. Because the money is decided in the cities. It's not decided by these small, like, outsider communities. So the idea that she's saying things like, you don't have to go into debt to get a degree, is so ridiculous. Because if you just looked for a split second outside of your little bubble and go, oh, actually, maybe we should change this. Instead of being like, no, you need to suffer for your choices.
yeah. This
Yes,
generation,
exactly
they're
that.
so bad. Oh my God.
Exactly that. I hate the idea that people are saying things like, oh my God, people just used to talk to each other and have a conversation back in the day. No, they used to sit at bus stops and read newspapers and ignore each other.
I don't understand this whole thing of like, get off your phone, go do that, but you're using
But you're
the
on
phone
Candy
to-
Crush level 12,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Sharing memes being like, oh, this is so Sharon, how's the kids?
Oh yeah, what celebrity do I look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine today Zeus storming?
You are talking as if war does not exist currently.
Right. Okay.
I hate this because, like, young people are still sent to war now, and we should have learnt from some of the major events of the last century that war doesn't really have a place and nobody wins.
In a modern society, this is the thing. She's saying, "Oh, have you heard of the Vietnam War? Yeah, you lost."
It's quite offensive from all points of the angle, but it illustrates the point of, like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking?
Like, what do you want?
It's like, why do you want people to be storming the beach at Normandy now?
Yeah.
Why do you want this to happen?
Yeah, why do you want young people, children, like the future of humanity, to be forced to go out and die for something that is irrelevant. They're watching videos on her phone at full volume in the middle of this restaurant. Do you know what I hate? Recently, we've seen this a lot. I don't know what's happened to like cinema etiquette, but seeing people on Twitter be like, I brought my 5-year-old and played like Coco the whole time.
The whole time?
We went to watch the Barbie film recently, and I said to Luxeria and Callum afterwards, I was like, this is the first movie I've gone to watch in like 3 years where there has been no one causing a scene. And I was like, why is this a thing that I need to be like shocked about?
Yeah. Why are you bringing your child to a film that's also not appropriate for children? Granted, it's PG-13, but you don't bring a 5-year-old. And then obviously the 5-year-old is bored, and then you just put them on an iPad full volume in a cinema.
Yeah, weird. Air Force to allow female airmen to wear ponytails, braids while in uniform.
Oh, good.
And someone's commented, probably won't last long before men are wearing ponytails.
And it's just hair. That woman is like, probably won't be long before the men have fannies.
Wow. Scandalous.
Can we also say that like this old woman, again, would have grown up in like the 80s when like men had really long permed hair and mullets. Like that was a
celebrity,
style.
yeah.
Like
they literally used to wear booty shorts, crop tops, and have wild, unruly hair and beards.
Poof.
And she's like, no, it probably won't be long before I die.
They used to watch Mr. Motivator on TV, who was like a man who's wearing like spandex, really skimpy, big high kicks, and be like, and then what's the other guy called with the curly hair? He had like,
oh yes, no, I can't think of his name, but I know.
You know who I mean?
The fitness
like,
guy.
And like, no one had a problem. But now that not long until men have ponytails. Men have had long hair since the dawn of time.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
What do you think the Vikings had?
Skin fade.
Yes, skin fade Vikings. Can you imagine?
Never been more proud of my country. Seen Olympian overslept. What?
Lost coat, said on TV and won the US first gold of 2018. Deborah, with her stupid little cat picture, has said overslept. That sums up the work ethic of that generation. How many gold medals do you have, Deborah? And does you and your cat have? Go knit some cat mittens about. I had a stroke during that.
It's jealousy.
It is.
It's so, I think a lot of this time when people are like, oh my god, like a man died, we ate piss.
What?
Like, I think all these times when people do things like this, it's because they're so jealous that like modern society has it slightly easier, like kids have it slightly easier than they did.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why aren't you going down the coal mines?
Yeah,
it's like, because we don't want to die.
Yeah,
like,
so we don't need to. We have machines that can do that for
us. I do feel a bit like this when it comes, a bit of a strange thing, but like the Heartstopper effect. The amount of like bitter gay men on Twitter being like, it's a load of I hate it. We never had it.
It's fiction. It's not meant to be real.
It's not meant to be real. And it's not necessarily, it's not meant to be a depiction of life in the early 2000s or 90s of what it was like to grow up as a gay child. It's a depiction of like kind of modern society in a slightly more utopian society.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it's like they're taking that personal attack.
Something is allowed to be unrealistic and also not for you.
Yes.
You don't have to be like, this is so unrealistic, so I hate you.
Most like teen love stories in like high school
are completely unrealistic. Played by 35-year-olds, full of makeup, singing about gout.
But now all of a sudden there's this like gay series and like there's these gay kids like acting nice or whatever.
Do you think these people, like, imagine back in, like, when Grease came out and people were like, well, cars don't actually fly into the sunset at the end, you whore. Why? I don't like it. It's not about me.
Heartstopper doesn't necessarily represent me when I grew up, but do I care? No, because it's not for me. Like,
yes.
You're a 35-year-old adult on Twitter being like,
how dare you?
It doesn't, this is
the Barbie film was for me.
I know a bitch when I see one.
But why can't you just let people enjoy stuff?
Yeah, why?
Just let people enjoy
exactly,
it.
Exactly.
Imagine a country where the president is fined $2 million for stealing money from charity. Nobody cares. You live there. Right, we don't care. Trump 2020. What's that got to do with any, like, you are insufferable. It's cult. It's cult-like behavior.
Imagine, just take this, like, take away the cultness, whatever. Actually, say, doesn't matter who we're talking about, just a fictional character who is going for president, and you find out that they stole $2 million, whatever, from a charity, and you actively go, I don't care.
I don't care about that.
You make me sick!
That's
Who cares?
fine. Who cares about charity?
Like,
I don't need charity. Trump 2020! It's lowest common denominator again, isn't it? This person truly does not care about anyone outside of their immediate circle.
Yeah.
Maybe not even about, maybe they don't even care about their immediate circle.
The thing is, they're probably single and they don't have a family and they're just on their own.
What's really annoying is the way that these like right-wing, insidious brainwashing things work is that they actually harm the people that need like social welfare the most.
Yeah.
They make people vote against their best interests and they do it with bright smiles millennials, and they are happy to, because the idea that a liberal next door has to also be shit, then that's great for me. I don't mind also being shit.
I always knew I deserved to be dead.
Can you have a critical thought for a moment, please, and just think about where you are on this speck of dirt in the middle of the universe? Oh my God. Had lunch today with the lunch bunch. Found a way to eat with our mask on. The woman just didn't get the memo. She was like, no.
No, she's dead.
I'm actually going to say something about baby boomers now. The thumbs up really, like, gets me. There's something about it, it's like, die. Like, I don't know why. I just a bit like, please don't do a thumbs up at me. It feels like I'm offended. I'm going to be a snowflake about that.
I find it funny that it was so prevalent with that community when they were the ones who were the most
affected. Well, COVID was even nicknamed the boomer remover.
And the thing is, they really thought they did something. They've done this and gone, we're
moment.
Batman.
Yeah, like we've done a moment. We're sticking it to the government, girls.
They
it's like,
really thought they did something.
Oh, it's sad.
And then they wanted a bukkake with that woman.
Disgusting.
Oh, I don't need that visual, thank you. Do you remember that? Like, there was a dance troupe. Was it in the NHS or the UK? And it was some old man. There was that video of that old man being like, I'm not gonna wear a mask. And then he like died.
Well, that happened a few times of people just being like, they're gonna do it.
Do you know what we're seeing at the moment as well? Is
syphilis.
We are, yes. We're seeing screenshots of people from like all these like underground, like anti-vax circles describing physical symptoms of like long COVID and being like, I've been near a vaccinated person and they've shed it on me. Why am I getting this? It's like, sis, you have long COVID and you have to take this serious or it's going to develop into something more problematic. And they're just like, no, it's actually because that person over there got the vaccine. It's like, how is this allowed?
So the vaccine has now caused you to get sick, even though you didn't have it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll get sick if I have the vaccine, but also I can't have the vaccine because I will get sick. Like, what?
But also COVID's not real.
Like, now what are you talking about?
It's so confusing. I don't understand where the level of critical thinking just isn't there and why they're so adamant. Like, why are they so adamant about it? People love to bury their heads in the sand so much about an issue that if they really don't think about it, it like doesn't affect them.
I think some of it is burying head in the sand and they don't want to. Same with climate change. All these people say it's not real. I think they just don't want to accept reality.
Ignorant hope.
And their fear.
Yeah.
But I think some people are just absolutely arrogant.
Yeah.
Safe to conclude that the timeout generation did not work out as well as the ass-whooping generation.
No, because you're all just traumatized. Oh. Anyone that's like, I turned out fine and I hit my children. I'm like, well, sis, have a look in the mirror. Have a word with yourself for a second.
Really, I find it like strange that people still argue about like smacking children. I don't understand what lesson you're trying to teach your children when you go, if someone does something that upsets you, beat them. Like that is what you're telling your child.
Yeah. Why do we get away with treating children like lesser than adults?
Yeah, I don't really understand. We've said many times about like, if I did to another person now what like a family member would do to me, obviously I wasn't like beaten, but like say my parents decided to smack me. If I did to an adult now what they did to me, I would be arrested for assault.
Absolutely.
So why is now adults allowed to beat children just because they're children?
Anyone outside of the family dynamic as well, to that child would be immediately arrested for like assault. So the idea that they've said, safe to conclude that the timeout generation did not work. It's like, why is that placing the blame on the child?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, your timeouts don't work. Well, who's giving the timeout?
Yeah.
Should we ask that question?
Also, we have also grown up in a time where we weren't like hit at school. The idea that there was at one point where like you could cane children in school.
Yeah.
Like that's our parents' generation. There was like the
yeah.
end of like being caning at school. The idea that you could just go to like the head teacher and they're like, whack!
Use the rod, beat the child. That's my motto.
What?
Yeah, unhinged. And the thing, of course, is people quite easily forget this when they say things like, well, it just didn't happen when we were kids. Yes, it did.
Yes,
no
it
one
did.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Is that tea?
Anytime that someone can impose power on someone lesser, smaller, more sort of like submissive, I guess, than them, they will always exert it.
Absolutely.
They will seek out those positions of power to do it. We just see it all the time with the police force. Imagine that, but you can never get away from it. It's in your house, it's in your school, everywhere.
Absolutely.
Awful. I'm so glad we have left that behind. We do not need ass whooping to teach people like how to behave in a acceptable society.
Absolutely. Remember when boomers told us we had to untag every Facebook photo of ourselves having a beer at a party in college because we'd never get a job? Then they Facebook Live and started storming the Capitol.
And then they put fucking statuses about it. Do you remember that blonde woman who was like, I got a private jet to Capitol January 6th?
And then the people like we saw the last guy. Remember he was selling the podium that he stole from.
Oh my God, on eBay.
It's so. But we've said this before as well. It's all the people that used to say, "Be careful, all the information."
Don't believe what you read on the internet.
And now they're like, "Oh my God."
They're like, Mary, come look. The children have got 5G.
Yeah. Facebook said that if I eat this pea, I'm gonna turn into
a woman.
Let me help you.
It's also, do you remember that one that was like urine? It was like a urine group, and they were like, I put 20 drops of urine in my eyes every day, but my vision is going every day. It's like, how many more urine drops should I have? Stop putting piss in your eyes. I can't believe I have to say this in 2023. Don't put piss in your eyes.
Facts. Dear trans community, don't tell me what I have to accept you for what? I have to accept you for who you are when you couldn't accept yourself for who you were.
Okay, no one's asking you to. They're just asking you to shut up and not be a... Stop letting us absorb all of your mental capacity.
I hope
most
these
of us just
people
want to go on with nothing.
I hope these people
die.
I hope these people don't dye their hair.
Yeah,
put makeup
change
on.
anything.
Change
all these blonde Republican right-wing women who are like, no, I'm blonde. No, you're not. I can see your roots.
Yeah, I can see your roots.
Don't tell me you're blonde, bitch.
And if you're
just a cis brunette.
Yeah, if you're ill, I hope you don't try to change it because that is what
God's will.
That was God's will, and that's who you are, like who you are. So you know,
you were also a baby, so never have sex with anyone because of who you were.
Yeah, you.
Just literally, like, where does this madness stop? Just like let people get on with their lives.
What? CDC, cough into your elbow. Boomers at the
Oh no, it's true, isn't it?
Watching how people did act though when COVID happened, like the amount of videos I watched of like Karens going up to people and it's just coughing in their faces.
Yeah, which should be seen as like bioweapons.
Yeah,
at this point, you could kill someone.
It was insane. But also some of the people who tried to like overcompensate and they were going with like just bags over their head or like.
I remember once all the supermarkets in the UK at that point had like a mask policy, like you weren't allowed in unless you had an exemption or whatever. There was this old man who had a pair of glasses on and he put a single piece of toilet paper hanging down from them and was like, it's a mask! I'm allowed in! It's a mask!
Sure, Jan.
And I just remember looking at him and thinking, we are doomed. We are doomed.
Dear children, okay, Boomer, it's already a massive cliche. Someday you'll grow up and be adults and understand how stupid and disrespectful okay, Boomer is. Until then, carry on being typical millennials and we'll continue being responsible adults.
And the response is, okay, boom. I've seen some great examples of it being used on the internet to just be like, go believe that.
Believe
Piss
that.
off,
sis.
But the idea that in this, like, she doesn't look like a baby boomer
this is
or a Gen X person.
Example of mindset.
She looks like a millennial. So the idea that she's like, carry on being typical millennials. I don't know why people think that millennials are like 5 years old.
Oh no,
millennials now
believe
are like
40.
33 to 40 years old.
Yeah.
These are responsible adults looking to get into mortgages. They're probably already progressing in their jobs. Some of them have kids, families, marriages. And it's like the idea that the only people ever to be considered responsible adults were boomers. It's unhinged because they actually were the only generation that made the world worse than when they got here.
So a couple of years ago, is it called Jimmy Carr? He did 8 out of 10 cats. We got a comedian in the UK. He does like kind of edgy, dark sense of humor. He did this tour about like, oh, my most cancelable tour, my offensive tour. And part of his shtick inside this like tour thing, he was talking about like millennials and like not understanding VHS tapes. I was like, but we did. We had them. It's like, what are you talking about?
Do you think millennials were born in the year 2000?
Like, it's so stupid.
That's
it's
so
dumb. It's like, we know what videotapes are. Millennials don't even know how to put a videotape in. But we know what video and cassette tapes are. Like,
it's stupid, isn't it? It's so infuriating because it's just like, you're trying to be funny, but it's actually just cringe.
I'm pretty sure he's considered like an
older millennial.
An older millennial, like on the
cusp of Gen X.
Like, dumb.
It's just a buzzword. They just mean young people.
So this is the thing. They talk about saying, you guys all say, okay, boomer, but all of you will constantly go,
say,
the millennial.
Yeah, millennial, don't even know how to cook a
Welcome to Happy.
Hey friends, reminder when I okay boomered a climate change denier who emailed me. Well, he replied, and I'm not absolutely screaming up.
I'm 50, snowflake. I own 5 companies in Texas and made a shitload of money. I pay taxes, work out, bang my wife an animal. You mean bang your wife like an animal?
No, he actually comes in with like a raccoon and is like,
oh my god.
Sex in the cycle shed.
Have healthy relationships and basically live like a rock star without having to get on stage. I also have the intelligence to look at both sides of an argument and figure out the real facts. Meanwhile, you are an average income, basically broke reporter, fake news, who blames people like me for your problems and shortcomings. Bottom line is that your parents spoiled your ass and you think you know it all. If you were my son, I would slap the shit out of you.
And you'd be in prison.
Why do boomers always want to resort to violence? Oh, it's all the leaded in their petrol.
It's all the lead,
isn't it?
yeah, it's all the lead
in their petrol up until the 90s.
And the arsenic in their wallpaper.
Yeah,
and they played
absolutely.
with plutonium.
Yeah, they did, yeah. They didn't dial 911, they just died.
No.
Give me my plutonium! I don't dial 911, I just die!
It's
It's exhausting at this point. Like, we're just faced with the same argument. Instead of someone being like, should I take a moment and have a little thought outside? No, you are wrong, beat! And I feel like sometimes people get so irate with being told that they're wrong because they think they're doing the right thing their entire life.
Yes.
That they can't possibly accept that some of the right choices they've made have had a negative impact towards society on the whole. I agree that probably things that I've done have done that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just like your response of being like, I own 5 companies in Texas. Like, why? Why are you saying that unless you're like deeply triggered and deeply snowflakey about your position as a man
Well, it's always
in
the
society?
snowflakes who are the snowflakes. Actually, people scream about snowflakes are the ones who just get angry at the most ridiculous stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I said about the people getting angry about
Barbie.
about the Barbie film. It's like you, as an
Absolute
adult man,
snowflakes.
actively went out to watch a film that wasn't aimed at you, as you were not saying.
And then you were
it's-
upset that it wasn't for you.
Yeah, and it was just stupid.
Our minds matured in a world before the internet, and now we have younger people than us that have their brains have matured in a world with TikTok and with like immediate gratification at the like end of their arm at all times of the day and night. And that means we're going to have fundamentally different experiences of life.
Yeah.
And that is okay. We have to talk about it. We can't just go, well, thumbs up, I hope you all get gout and die. Who put 50 pence in cheddar? Because that's just, where does that leave society full stop?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Where can we go from that?
I always use the example of like my granddad accepting me for being an absolute raging with no qualms when he grew up in a time where it was illegal.
Yes.
He grew up in
He was
era,
silent, wasn't
and-
he? Silent generation.
Silent generation. And when he was young, it was literally illegal to be gay. And it wasn't until he was like 20 that it got decriminalized. I'm sure back in the day he probably made gay jokes. He probably joked because people would have back then.
Yeah, it would have been normal.
And
I mean, we make gay jokes now.
Yeah,
dirty.
yeah. But the thing is like he grew up and realized modern society wasn't like that, and he adapted how he changed, and like he loved me, like he had zero problems. If anything, my grandma had more of an issue than my granddad, which you would think would be slightly different.
That's interesting.
Like he was way more open to
Maybe
everything.
she had expectations of like great grandchildren.
Yeah,
or something.
maybe. But like she was still fine with it. But the fact that my granddad, who had grown up in that time and been absolutely fine, there's no excuse of it was just a different time. We just ignore her. She grew up in a different time. I don't give a shit. You're not in that time anymore, bitch.
You've just said something really fascinating there that's just kind of clicked to me. When you come out as like gay or something and someone's like, well, I don't like that, it's got nothing to do with them. So like when they're like, well, I don't agree, it's like,
So? Like, what?
What's it got nothing to do with you?
You dirty bitch!
Well, guys, we are well and truly aboard that trigger train.
We
Speed off the
are.
railway, about to crash
We
off
don't
the
even
cliff.
have a ticket.
We don't even have
We're
a ticket.
illegal immigrants on the train.
Oh my god, don't tell the boomers, they'll
No,
kill us.
don't, yeah.
No, we crashed off the cliff, and unfortunately, we can't come back and resurrect ourselves because
We are not Jesus.
we're not Jesus, and
The
boomers will
rapture
not allow.
has arrived.
No, we have been left
We are
below.
ascending.
We are-
Oh, left below.
We've been left below,
Dead now.
dead
Left
now.
behind.
Left behind.
Left below.
behind. Yeah, picking our asses on the couch. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video.
Yes.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. As we always say, you know, if you want us to do more parts of these ones, please let us know down below in the naughty box.
All the naughty box. Thoughts in the ballot box below. Who are you voting for,
please.
naughty
Thoughts
Brexit?
and prayers down below. Of course, check out Luxeria's channel. There'll be a link in the description.
Oh, don't even bother.
It's just full of roids.
Yeah, I'm not on roids. The rumours
No,
are not true.
No, she's on crystal
Lolcow's
meth.
gonna be like,
Lolcow's like, oh no,
You're on a
we've
boat, are
had
you?
another affair with Jake Monroe.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Vulgar.
Apparently we're dating.
Oh, I know.
Apparently we were dating. He must have at least done it to her once.
Yeah, done it to her. Oh, disgusting. No, we're not having any of
Anyway,
that.
the internet is insane. I love the internet.
And with that,
Bye.
bye.